Hello there, my name is Matt Estlea, and in this three-part video series I'll be making this walnut desk. It includes cable management down the back, continuous grain over a mitre, some dovetail keys, and for you wood pun enthusiasts, because I know there's a lot of you out there, a lovely bit of crotch at the back. So yeah, I'll be going over the problems with the old desk, the design of this new one, the making of this new one, and the installation of it as well. So lots of stuff to see, lots of stuff to do, and enjoy. So here's the desk that I'm replacing. As you can see, it's tiny, so I have to work on A3 sketchbooks throughout the year, and like I've got an A4 one here, and there's just no room to work on the desk with it. I've got a keyboard that's in the way, which I can sort of put up there, or I can't put it under here because this has got all of my sketchbook stuff in it, and it's rubbish. So that can go down there. But even so, even with just an A4 sketchbook, you put it on there. There's just no support for it, so it has to be replaced. It is annoying me so much. I keep losing stuff down the side of here, like the mouse. That just goes down like that. So it's going. I'm done with it. The other issue I have is that I've got my PC tower down here, and it's obviously got the airflow grid work on top, and that means all the dust, like from my room, just falls straight into it, and there's no sort of protection for it. So I'm hoping that I'll basically build the desk big enough that it can cover this, and maybe make some sort of area for this to sit into. Still allow airflow, but just try and restrict the dust getting into it, because I don't think, like if I blew an air gun into there, that this whole room would just. So yeah, that also needs to be addressed. So what you can see there is the end of my bed, and I plan to actually build the desk all the way up from this corner, all the way along and down there. So I'm sort of thinking some sort of natural edge thing. Not entirely sure on the timber. I'll have to go to the sawmill and decide there and then what's going to work, see if I can get something wide enough, because again this desk isn't wide enough front to back, let alone width. So I need to work that out at the sawmill. Anyway, let's chat. Me and Kieran, who's a guy from work, we're both off to Surrey Timbers this afternoon, which is towards Guildford. It's in the UK, sorry for you Americans. But yeah, we're just going to see what's available. Get some sort of live edge board. Hopefully it'll fit in this area. Yeah, cue the montage. So here's my catch of the day, all 375 bloody quid of it, but the guys at Surrey Timbers were kind enough to give me a small discount on it, so at least it covered the petrol expenses there and back. So I can hear you asking this already, where the bloody hell is he? This is the Basingstoke branch of Axminster Tools and Machinery. I actually work here on weekends, and I thought I'd take advantage of my summer holidays to borrow all of their tools in order to fulfil this project. So on to some actual work. This is the split at the end of the board, and I'm not going to fix it, I'm just going to make a feature of it. So what I'm doing here is cutting some maple, but what I'm going to do with this is create what are called butterflies, or bow ties, or bow flies, butter ties, that'd be good. And these will be installed along the split in the wood, and that will actually prevent it from splitting any further over time. And that's achieved through the wedge action of the actual the butter ties themselves. I'm going to call them butter ties from now on. You will see what I mean at some point along this. There you go. You'll see them now. There you go. So they are going to be installed along that crack like that, and that prevents it from splitting any further. So obviously for these to have any effect, they need to be recessed into the wood. And to do that, I'm just knifing around them with the Veritas striking knife. This is the first time I've used it, and I must say I'm rather impressed. It's not quite as flimsy as a scalpel blade, which is what I normally use. So I might have to add one to my arsenal at some point in the future, even though I said I wasn't going to impulse buy any tools this year. So after they're all marked out with a knife, I could drill out some of the waste, and this would make it a little bit easier on the router bit and stop it screaming at me, especially seeing as I'm using it in the middle of a store right now. I'm sure the customers would be most pleased. And then to set the depth, all I do is bottom it out on the drilled hole and then raise the depth stop by 5mm, and this means that when it comes to plunging the router, it's going to cut 5mm deeper than the drilled hole, obviously creating a flatter bottom in the process. Now you'll probably see here that I'm not using the fitted extraction hood with the router, and that's because once that's installed it covers that whole mouthpiece. Even though it's see-through, you cannot see anything past it, especially with dust flying around in there. So instead what I've done is I've left it off, and I'm just going to hold the hoover next to it, and that still catches any of the fine dust within there. The beauty with this router and its pistol grip handle is that it makes it so much easier to use one-handed, and it's perfect for jobs like this where you can't actually get the extraction hood there and you need to hold the router with one hand. So with the router I'm just getting rid of most of the waste as close as I can to the line, and then what I can do is drop a chisel into that knife line, which is a great reason as to why you should use a knife line as opposed to a pencil, because it falls straight into the groove, and then I can just chop straight back to the outline of the butterfly. And what I'm doing here is just putting a small chamfer on the bottom of each of them, and that'll just make it a little bit easier to locate in the recess. Yes, I'm using a chisel in my hands, but I've choked up on it by holding it close to the end of the blade, so if I slip it shouldn't stab me in the hand, or it won't stab me in the hand, because I've literally done that hundreds of times, and I know how to guard myself against myself now. And then to flush it off, I'm using the Veritas scrub plane with a heavy camber, and that just rips through the material. And then I can just top it off with the Lie-Nielsen number 62, which is the low angle jack plane. And this just works absolutely beautifully on walnut and maple in particular, but very nicely on other timbers as well. So there's the result. You can see that the dovetail shape of the keys will prevent that split from expanding anymore and stop my desk from exploding. Yay!